Good morning, students. Okay, welcome back. That day we completed the first chapter of history, and I've asked you to vote. And yes, Keshav Mungar, and I'm glad that you all voted in a very overwhelming manner. Let us be very fair enough to introduce that that day I received 76 responses. Which subject should I start for? And the maximum one which I received was of geography, and then followed by civics, and then history, very less percentage. So finally I decided to start on your choice only, the first chapter of geography, which is quite interesting, and most of the things you have already covered up in the previous classes. Okay, so before I'll proceed towards chapter, first of all I would like to introduce you to the syllabus that First of all, I would like to introduce you to the contents, what all we are going to cover up in the class 8. So as you see the content, the first the first slide says resources chapter. In this, we are going to discuss about the various resources. Then second chapter, we are going to discuss about land, soil, water, natural vegetation, wildlife resources. Okay. Third, we are going to discuss about minerals and power resources, in which we are going to discuss about what are the major minerals present in our country, and the power resources, how power can be used in various ways in our country. Then we are going to discuss about agriculture, the types of agriculture, the types of farming, what are the major crops, and how these crops can be utilized in earning more economy to the country. Then we are going to discuss about industries, the major industries, the private sector, the public sector, and all the different types of industries, the major industries which are based in our country, and finally, how human resources are important. Kabir Chawla, you raised your hand, but I'm sorry I cannot answer your query because it's a one-way communication. But definitely, as I've already told you that day also, that if you are facing any kind of problem, you can message me or you can talk to me over WhatsApp, and I'm certainly going to sort out all your queries. So students, welcome back once again. We are going to start with the chapter resources. I would suggest you that you should also read the book. Okay, you should also read the textbook which we have, which is available on the Tata Classage. So please go through the textbook once I complete the chapter. Okay, one simple question I'm going to ask. Just give me an answer for that. That how many of you have read chapter 1 of history that day? Raise your hands. Very good. Kabir, I presume that you have read Drishti Tiwari, Divya Vardhan, Gaurav, Bhavishya, Vedant, Pranav, Vedant, Batra. Very good. Vedant, you're reading, you're taking interest. I'm so glad. Vedant Singh, Mayank, Kabir Chawla. Okay, great. Ah, smile. Okay, see, without seeing, I can make out you're smiling. Okay, so now we are going to start with first chapter. I hope I'll make it interesting and as per your way. Okay, so we are starting. So Vedant Batra is taking a lot of interest. I can see him. Vedant Batra, let's start the chapter. Okay, this is the chapter which we are going to start about the resources. In this, we are going to cover up three parts. First part, we are going to discuss about the natural resources. Second is the human made resources. And third is the human resources. Okay. First thing you have to understand is the difference between a substance or a source and a resource. Okay. How does a resource, what is the difference between a source and a resource? See, what is a source? A source can be anything, right? For example, the cotton which is growing, or the food crop which is growing, the water which is flowing, anything, or the well or the hand, anything, whatever is surrounding you is a source from where you get that thing. And once that thing become of utility, of use, then automatically it is called as resource. Okay, so what is a source? The main thing from which a resource is made. Like for example, cotton is used to make cotton clothes. So in this sentence, cotton is a source, while the cotton clothes which we are using is a resource. Okay, good morning Puranjay. So resource is anything which can be used to satisfy a human need. Okay, the difference between source and resource is a thing from which a resource is made, while a resource is anything which can be used to satisfy a human need or a need. For example, here we can, I'm just going giving a small example of the daily things which we are using is like a bicycle or a rickshaw or a car. We need something to go home like the school buses. So here we can consider a rickshaw, a car or a bicycle as a resource. Okay. So I hope you have understood the difference between source or a resource. Now source, you can also say source or a substance. In your textbook it is given as substance, that is also equally correct. Okay. So how does this source changes into resource? So for that we have to understand that there are two factors. Okay, there are two factors which makes a resource source or a substance convert into a resource. These factors are time and technology. Okay, you will find in your textbook. If you wish, you can take the running notes also. The time and technology is the main factor which can turn a substance or a source into a resource. Okay, so this is just the beginning of the chapter. Next is I'm just giving you some examples. For example, you can see in the sources, these are the natural things which are present in the environment. Okay, here you can see some trees. Now these trees can be of bamboo, it can be of rubber, or it can be of cotton plants, which is again used to make a resource. It can be some rugs, it can be some clothes, or it can be a bag, jute, or etc., anything, right? Second, we can see a flowing water. This is a river. You cannot just go and every day fetch water from the river. For that, you need to have a supply of water at your home, which comes in the form of resource. So this running tap water is known as resource. I hope it is clear, everyone. Divyavardhan, everyone, I hope it is clear the difference between the source or a substance and a resource. Yes, Sakshi, good morning. Okay. Now, these are the characters of a resource. I'm going to make you understand each and every definition. First, what is a value? Second, what is utility? And third, what is the difference between a value and an economical value? Okay. So, let us start one by one. Okay. What is utility? A resource which is in the form of a substance. Okay. A resource which is in the form of some usable or which is obtained from a substance, or it is of a use of a substance, is called the utility. Like you all know that what is the utility of a rickshaw, what is the utility of a bus, electricity, water, etc. in our life. So these are the things which can be of use. In simple language, U for utility, U for use. Okay. So the things which can be of use or the things which can be usable is known as utility. So I hope utility definition is clear. This you have to learn it because it can be tested for 1 marker question and it is a very important part of the chapter as well. Second is value. See, here you have to understand that we are not talking about human emotions here. Here value means worth. Something, the things can only become a resource when it has a value. Okay. For example, a grandmother's recipe, something which she is cooking at home, will not become a value till the time it will not be patented or till the time it will not be professionally, or you can say utilized. Okay. For example, I would like to just explain the concept of patent. Okay. Now see, I have made a recipe at home or I have made a medicine at home. But if I want that the world should use my medicine or that recipe, I should get it registered. Okay. If I talk about the medicine, I should get it registered with the Medical Council of India. First, they will check whether it is of use or I hope it is not having any kind of harm, and then based on that, then we decide whether the thing is of value or not. So here value carries a very important concept of economical value. Okay, not all resources have an economical value. Only few resources have an economical value. Take for example, there are some resources which are given here in the picture like solar energy, carbon dioxide, water vapor, are directly not having any kind of economical value. But on the other side, if you say the minerals which are present like in the form of raw iron or the copper or any other thing, yes, of course, they carry lot of value. Okay. So this is these are the definitions we have to learn. First is your utility. and second is your value. Clear till here? Shall I proceed further? Okay. Children, I expect that at least you show some sign language, like maybe raising hand or putting a thumb up, so that I am aware that yes, you are little bit interested in the class. Ali Asgar, Kabir, Nikhil, Sakshi, Keshav, great. Okay, now this is the actual chapter. What I am going to, yeah, many more. All my favorite ones, great. Okay, so this is a chapter which we are actually going to start about the resources. As I told you, that resources are divided into three parts. First is your natural resources, second is your human made resources, and third are your human resources. Okay. Let us define first of all what is a natural resource. A resource which is drawn from a nature. Okay. A resource which is drawn from a nature and which is used without much modification is called a natural resource. Okay, so what is a natural resource? A resource which is drawn from a nature and which is used without modification is called a natural resource. Second, that all these resources, as they are the free gift of nature. For example, the sunlight which we are getting, the air we breathe in, the water which is flowing. Okay, and these can be used directly. And as I told you, that time and technology are the two factors which makes a resource into a usability or a utility. So technology, but in case of natural resources, technology may not be needed. I'm not saying that 100% it is not needed, because, for example, take for example a practical example of solar energy. Okay, we are taking solar energy from the sun directly. Yes or no? Yes or no? We are taking solar energy from the sun, but if we want to do it economical value, what do? We put solar panels, we use solar heaters, we use solar cookers. Agreed or not? So here technology is being used. Okay, a little bit technology is being used. Very good, everyone. Those who have raised their hands. Okay, so here we are using bit technology so that we can make the best use of that resource. So natural resources is a resource which is drawn from nature and without much modification. Clear till here? Next, we are going to discuss, there are many ways, many factors on the basis of which natural resources can be classified. Okay, for example, what is the level of development of that resource? How much usage it is having? What is the origin of that resource? What is the distribution of that resource? And how much stock we are having? Okay, so this you can take a screenshot, because although it is given in your textbook, but in that flowchart form, it will be easy for you to understand. Although it will be also put up in the YouTube link for your better convenience, you can just listen to the lecture once again. And believe me, if you listen to these lectures once or twice also, you don't have to mug it up in future much. Okay, so once again I am explaining you that what are the factors here on the basis of which natural resources can be classified. Okay, first is your level of development and use. See, without listening, I just want every one of you to repeat after me. First is the level of development and use. Yes, Kabir. Second is origin. Third is stock. And fourth is distribution. So these are the four areas on the basis of which we are going to discuss about the four types of natural resources. Okay. So I'm proceeding further. You just close your eyes and try to recollect what are the four factors on the basis of which the natural resources can be classified. Okay. Once again, I'm starting. Level of development. Yes, Darshan. Origin, stock, and distribution. Okay, so these are the four factors on the basis of which the natural resources can be classified. Okay, so we are proceeding further. See, on the basis of level of development and use, the resources can be, now I am talking about the natural resources. Okay, so these resources can be classified into two types: the actual resources and the potential resources. Okay, for example, actual means something which you have, right? Something which you have, something which you are using. Shriman, very good. Okay, potential is something which can be expected. For example, you keep on you must be you must be listening from your parents and from your teachers saying that yes, you have got the caliber to do, yes, you have got the potential to do this thing. Potential means that you have got this much of scope with you. Only thing is, with the coming time and coming technology, or with your hard work, you can prove yourself. Okay, so potential is something where we can have the chance of using that resource if time and technology permits. Okay, so this is the difference between the actual resource and the potential resource. Actual resource is those resource of which the quantity is known. We know, okay, we know that how much quantity is present, and then we have to utilize it in that particular manner. That is called as actual resource. Potential resource is that we have got the potential this thing idea about it, that yes, if the time permits, if the technology is there, if that resource can be utilized properly in future, it can be of great help. Okay, so first I would like to give you the example of actual resource, then I will give you the example of potential resource, and in this way you will be able to understand the difference between actual and potential resource. Okay, so coming further, let us discuss what is an actual resource. An actual resource is a resource whose quantity is known and it is used in present. Okay, for example, they are giving the example of the rich deposits of coal in the Ruhr region of Germany. Okay, it's in Germany where the coal is present. They know that, see, we know the actual quantity of coal and petroleum. How many of you agree with me? Because these are the resources, the quantity is limited. Because if you want, yes, very good, Sakshi, Pranav. Okay, Tanmay, Vasudanshi, Disha, very good. Because see, these resources which needs to be revived again, it takes again thousands and millions of years to get it renewed or produced. Okay, yes, Charvi, Akshat, very good. So actual resources are those resources whose quantity is known, which can be used in present, like the rich deposits of coal in the Ruhr region of Germany. In Germany, there's a place, there's a region called Ruhr, where these resources are of coal are known, although very rich, but then yes, it is in a very limited amount. Okay. Second example, you can say the black soil which is being present in Maharashtra, Deccan region. You know very well that Deccan Plateau is rich in black soil. So again, the quantity of black soil is known, because you cannot produce black soil like a, like a artificial soil in a day. Can you produce black soil in artificial manner? No, you cannot do that. So the actual quantity of such resources are known. Okay, I hope it is clear. Actual resource. Now potential resource is a resource whose quantity is not known, but it can be used in a future. Okay, students, you know that sometime back the uranium has been discovered in Ladakh, but we are keeping it as a potential resource because in class 7th last chapter we have discussed about the cold desert Ladakh. Yes, remember or not, Kavyansh? Okay, so in that particular chapter we have discussed the life of the people is not that easy. It is very difficult to reach Ladakh. Forget about taking out uranium from there as a potential resource, because you need lot of technology. Okay, that is why in future if such kind of machines will be there, then only it can be utilized, and therefore uranium in Ladakh is kept as a potential resource. Clear everyone now? The difference between actual resource and the potential resource means a resource whose quantity is not known and it can be used in the future. Yeah, take some another example. For example, in Netherlands, okay, earlier the high speed winds which were considered in Netherlands were considered to be just a potential resource. Okay, but now because it is being generated using windmills a lot, if you see Netherlands, lot of windmills are there which produces lot of electricity. Okay, so now it is considered as a actual resource. So children, one thing I would like to tell you here, that these potential resources, once we start utilizing them, then they become the actual resources in a span of time. Now that span of time can stretch from some 100 years up to some more 100 years. Clear, everyone? So the difference between actual resource and potential resource is clear. Okay, so this was basically on the origin of development and use. Next classification we are going to discuss is about the origin. Okay, in the origin, these natural resources can be classified as biotic and abiotic, which you are very much familiar because you have been doing in science in your junior classes. Yes, Oshi? Okay, so this is very simple, right? Origin, on the basis of origin, the natural resources can also be classified into biotic and abiotic resources. Now, what are biotic? First, I would like to take biotic and then abiotic. Okay. Now, biotic resources are those resources which are living, simple, like plants and animals. These are biotic resources which have life. Bio means life. You know that very well. So, plants and animals, you can see, are all a part of your biotic resources. We have also done in class 7. Okay, then abiotic resources are those which are non-living, simple. You can see in the figure also, like the rocks, minerals, soil. All these chapters we have done in class 7th in geography, so it's just like a revision for you. Okay, so biotic and abiotic is clear. It is very simple. We have done the first chapter only of civics. If you remember, environment, the components of environment, if you remember, we have discussed the biotic environment, abiotic environment. Okay, hello, yes or no? Remember or not? Yes. Only one person remember. Keshav, Charvi, Sakshi, Vedant, Agrim, Durgesh, Pranav, Tanmay. Okay, great. So I'm proceeding further. Let us see. Next, natural resources are basically, we are dividing it into the renewable resources and the non-renewable resources. You know very well. Renew matlab something which can be renewed. Non-renewable means you cannot renew it. Okay, so this you all know very well, because again this you all are doing since long, from the childhood only, that renewable means the resources which can be renewed with the passage of time. Okay, then non-renewable means the things which cannot be given as to us as a fresh, are called as renewable and non-renewable resources. Okay, so what are renewable resources? Resources which can be renewed or replenished quickly. For example, solar, wind energy, etc. Water seems to be unlimited renewable resource. So all the natural resources which you can see, we get replenished equally. You know that even if the water is suppose finished, okay, the rain comes, we get a fresh water. Solar energy is a constant source of energy. Then wind energy, you know, when the wind blows, you keep on getting wind energies. We have a system of winds, which I have discussed with you in class 7 about the permanent winds and all. Okay, so all these resources which can be renewed or replenished equally comes under the category of renewable resources. Clear? Now, non-renewable resources, you all know very well. Nitya Patidar, any doubt? Divyanshi, I hope you are understanding everything. Still, if you don't have, I mean, if you're not able to understand anything, please go through your textbook. Please go through this video again. And still, if you have a doubt, you can ping me. I'm there to help you out, considering this chapter to be, there, and then we are going to just finish it up. Okay, because this is very simplified. So, resources which cannot be renewed or replenished quickly, once the stock is exhausted, it takes thousands of years to be renewed, like petroleum and coal. Okay, my question to you is coal and petroleum a fossil fuel? If you say yes, raise your hand. If you say no, don't raise your hand. Is coal and petroleum a fossil fuel? Okay, I am getting many responses. Okay, great. So coal and petroleum are the fossil fuels. Very good. All those who are attending, they all are attentive. I am glad. Okay, my second question is, then what is a fossil? Is it something, now because you cannot answer right now, so I am going to ask you in another manner, that is fossil something related to the live plant and animal? Please listen to me what I am saying. Kabir, is it related to life? or fossil is related to the dead plant and animal. How many of you agree dead plant and animal? Great. Great. Very good. So what is fossil basically? The remains of dead plant and animal. Thousands of years it takes. Okay, it's suck up into the rocks and all, and then how it is being, the coal and petroleum is being created. So therefore, these coal and petroleum are also called as fossil fuels because they are submerged under which rock? We have discussed three rocks. Igneous rocks, yes or no? Sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. Okay. Out of these three rocks, in which rocks will you find coal and petroleum submerged as a fossil fuel? Okay, those who say igneous rock, raise your hands. Vedant, Divyanshi, Vedant, Tanmay, Oshi, Nikhil, etc. Okay. If you say it is in the sedimentary rocks, coal and petroleum are submerged under sedimentary rocks. Very good, Jigyasa, Kanishka, Harsh, Keshav, Shubham, Drishti, Agrim, Yug Pratap, Pranav, Yash Sharma. Okay. And how many of you say under metamorphic rocks? Metamorphic? Nishkarsh, Vedant, Darshan. Vedant Batra is saying yes for all three things. Vedant, this is not fair enough, okay? You have to be on one side. Okay, let me just clarify you that petroleum and coal are being submerged under the sedimentary rocks. Okay. So renewable and non-renewable resources you have understood. See, these are the examples of renewable resources. You can see the solar energy, water, wind. Okay, and these are the examples of non-renewable resources like the phosphate, oil, limestone. Okay, my next question is, into which category will you put the limestone? First of all, what kind of rock, and into which category of rock will you put limestone? Anyone? I don't think you remember. Very good. You remember? Very good. Very good. Okay. So these are the types of examples of renewable and the non-renewable resources. Okay. Next is the kind of resources which I'm going to discuss is about the distribution. See, the resources are distributed, and based on the distribution of resources, how far it can be distributed, how well it is available, or we divide these resources into two parts, that is the ubiquitous resources and the localized resources. Okay, ubiquitous means the resources which are present everywhere. Okay, resources which are present everywhere. For example, air which we breathe. Okay, it is present everywhere, so therefore it will considered to be in ubiquitous resources. Localized resources which are found in certain local place only, like copper, iron ore. Okay, in the area where you are living, which resources are found here? Which resources found in Indore? Okay, similarly, which resources found from where you are coming? So you can find out many information. See, you ask, keep on asking question to yourself, and you will get answers to yourself, and in this way you will get lot of answers, right? So these are the division of the resources we have discussed, that is the ubiquitous resources and the localized resources. So four classification we have done. First is on their development and use, that is actual and potential. Second is about their origin, biotic and abiotic. Okay. Third is your renewable and non-renewable resources. And fourth is your ubiquitous and localized resources. Students, I expect one thing, that you all are going to make a chart, okay, of these resources. Yes, Kabir, Tanmay, you have got some queries or you have understood, that is why you are raising your thumb up. Okay, so what you are going to do is, Kavyansh, you are going to make a chart, a simplified chart, putting natural resource as a heading. Then you are going to subdivide it like I divide it into the four categories, and then the description along with the examples. So in this way, just before your test, before your exam, you will just see this chart and you don't have to read the book again and again, because in this way you can understand it in a better manner. Clear? Okay. Next we are switching over to the distribution of these natural resources. Okay, the first question of your geography textbook, the short answer is that are these resources distributed equally on the earth? Is it possible that it can be distributed equally on earth? If your answer is equal, raise your hand. First lot, do you think that the distribution is equal? Darshan, please see. It is already given here in the slide that it is not equal. Please see. Kavyansh, here we have to use little bit our sense. Beta, see. How can it be equally distributed? Can you get the same kind of stuff what you're getting in Indore, in Bombay, or in Delhi, or in Ladakh, or in Sahara Desert? Is it possible? No. The distribution of natural resources depend on the physical factors. Okay. Now, these physical factors can be terrain. Terrain, you know? How many of you know the terrain meaning? Terrain means the kind of soil. Very good. The kind of, what do you say, the land available. Whether it is a flat land or a plateau region or a mountainous region. Is the soil fertile? Is the soil loamy? Is it clay? Okay, so these are the different questions which you should ask to yourself. Can the distribution of natural resources be even everywhere? No, it is not possible. Second thing is your climate. As you know, we have discussed in class 7 when we took the case study of Amazon, Ganga Brahmaputra basin. We have discussed about two deserts, Sahara, Ladakh. We have discussed about prairies. Do you think the climate is same everywhere? No. So the second factor in the distribution of these natural resources is the climate. We have got different types of climate. Some areas are having the continental type of climate. Some other are having the maritime or the coastal type of climate. Some other are having the dry climate. Okay. And third important factor is your altitude. Altitude means height. Is the natural resource which is going to be extracted is found in the lower altitude or the plain surface? It is a plateau region or it is a mountainous region. So based on the factors like terrain, climate, and altitude, the distribution of the natural resources depend. Clear till here? Next is your that the distribution of these natural resources can never be equal because every place is having a different terrain, different climate, and different altitude. So your first answer is solved. That is, it can never be same. Is it clear to you all? Till here you have understood? I expect the raising of hand at least. Till here it is clear. This chapter is very small and very simple. Very good. Most of you are raising your hands. I hope it is clear to you till where I am explaining. Okay. Almost going towards the last part of the chapter. Let us see. Second kind of source, which I was resources. First, we have discussed in the beginning. I told you that these resources are classified into three groups: the natural resources, the human-made resources, and the human resources. Okay. So first, we have discussed the classification, that is natural resources. Second, I am going to discuss with you is human-made resources. So people use natural resources to make human-made resources. Simple. Who will utilize these resources? Like very recently, if you see, because of this lockdown situation, these natural resources are getting renewed on their own because no human interference is there. Okay. So second thing what I want to convey is that till the time humans are not going to use it, these resources does not carry much economical value. Like till now we were fighting for oil, for petrol, for diesel because these resources would be replenished very easily. But now because last 21 days and in some other countries maybe a month and more, people are not using their vehicles only, so these resources are not of much use to them. Okay, so it is a human who uses these resources, and that is how it becomes the human made resources. Okay, so people who use natural resources to make buildings, bridges, roads, machinery, and vehicles are known as human made resources. I hope it is clear what is a human made resource. Okay, for example, take the small example of building. Now, if you want to construct a building, you need not lot of natural resources. Okay, you need lot of stone, you need lot of minerals, you need cement, and you need wood, you need iron. This is how a building can be made. So, human, when they use natural resources to make such resources which are of use to these people, can be fitted into the category of human made resources. Okay. Now, third and the most important aspect, although natural resources are important, human made resources are also important, but human resources are of the most important types. So, people themselves, we, including you and we, okay, see, technology and all will matter only when the humans will use it. Otherwise, the animals are not going to use the technology. Are animals going to use the technology? No, it is we human being who are using the technology. So people are the most important resource. Okay. And how can we become a valuable resource? See, your first point they have written here is education. Education will only make a resource valuable. Yes, Charvi, agreed? And health, of course. So we are following only two things right now in the lockdown situation. One, that you all are conscious about your health, including me and everyone else. And second is education. So if we don't have to have a loss of that, we are having such online classes. Okay. That means the teachers, the students, the parents, and the all the other staff, all those who are involved into this, are all a part of resource. Okay. So here I'm going to finish it up till here only. We'll continue in the second class, next class of geography, and then I will start with some new topic. Thank you, student. Try to read the textbook, and if you have any doubt, you can definitely share your problems with me. Okay. Bye bye and take care.